Alam na. All right. Establish. Lakihan ko na konti. What's next? And what is the acronym for church planting movements? CPM. What's next? So, what is an unreached people group? Anong ibig sabihin ng unreached people group? Hindi maabot. Probably hindi madali dahil hindi pa sila nakakarinig. Unreached not by the government, unreached by what? The gospel. Unreached by the gospel. So, what is a people group? It's not necessarily a tribe. Diba sa Thailand? Sino ang unreached people group doon? Yung sa Thailand, yung mga Thais. Yung mga katutubo sa bundok, Christian na. So an unreached people group does not necessarily mean a tribe. At hindi necessarily sa bundok. What is a people group? Nalimutan na natin ang first day natin. Balikan natin. Review. What is a people group? Common language. Common culture. Tatlo. One more thing. No. That would be in the same word, the common culture. No, that's part of the word na common culture. They self-identify. So ang sabi nila, ako ay Alangan. Ako ay Taubuin. Ako ay Bisaya. Ako ay Thai. All right. So, a whole people group. Remember in Matthew 28, it says, go therefore and make disciples of all. But it's not nations. What is it really in the Greek? Nung Sabado? Reach all. Oh, my friends. What is the Greek in that for? Hindi nations, hindi political nations. It starts with E. Ethnics. Thank you. Sinong nagsabi? Great. Thank you. All ethnic groups. All people groups. Same in Matthew 24:14. It's also ethnic groups doon. Ang makita natin sa Biblia, ang plano ng Diyos ay by ethnic group. By people group. So, hindi sapat, at least kami sa PFM, sa amin, hindi sapat ang sabihin na unreached ang barangay na ito. Kasi kung ang katabing barangay ay reached, then what we will do is we will train the reached people in this barangay to go do their job, which is to reach the people in yung kapitbahay nila, their neighbors. But if there's a whole people group with no Christians or no Adventists, who is going to tell them? Who can go to their neighbor and tell them? There's nobody that can go tell them. Nung college ako, sabi ng professor ko, hindi na dapat tayo magpadala ng missionary sa ibang bansa. Because it's so much cheaper, mas mura, to just hire local believers to reach their people groups, or their people. And I was very scared because mahihain talaga ako. Lalo pa nung college, hindi pa ako gano'ng marunong magsalita. But I nanginginig talaga ako and stood up and said, but professor, by definition, an unreached people group has no local believers to hire. Wala ka talagang ma-hire na local Bible workers doon para mag-mission sa kanilang mga tao. Because by definition, there aren't any. It has to be cross-cultural. Okay. Unreached people groups. And how do we define unreached? I just barely mentioned this. Hindi ko talaga na-emphasize. Yes, less than 1%. Less than 1% Christian or less than 1% Adventist. All right. Some evangelical groups have added a classification called the most unreached or frontier. Na hindi lang unreached, but it's like less than 1%, like 0.01%. And some of the Muslim tribes here on Mindanao are in that category, the frontiers. All right. So unreached people groups, we've talked about this. What is a church planting movement? Magtayo ng simbahan ng building? Making disciples. Pero kung disciples, individuals lang yon. Okay? So we do the whole process from zero hanggang meron na silang mature church as in iglesia, hindi church as in simbahan. Marami ang nagtatranslate ng church planting in Tagalog as pagtatayo ng simbahan. That's not church planting. That's church building. Church planting is pagtatanim ng iglesia. What is the iglesia? Yes. It's not the building, it's the people. Do iglesia have to meet in church buildings? What did the early Christians meet in? Homes or under the trees, by the river. Remember, Paul? They went out to the river where prayer was customarily made. Okay. So it's not necessarily a church building, but it is a church. So, Kuya Jerry, it goes not just disciples, individuals, but yung disciples, you bring them together into a healthy church. That's the fourth field. Yung process ng fourth field, which we may want to talk about that today, Michael. Wala sa list, pero dapat siguro. Or we can do that tomorrow. All right. But it's not done. It's not a church planting movement. It's only a church plant. It's only CP at this point. What's the difference between CP versus CPM? What's the M? Movement. So what needs to happen here para maging movement? Spreading out. So I have another eye here and another eye here. So now is it a church planting movement? It's getting there. That's a step in the process. Pero hindi pa movement at this point. Remember sa Sabado, ay kumakagat sa likod ko. Remember sa Sabado, sabi ko na, if you only plant one church, it will die. It will die. There is no alternative. It may take a long time, pero talagang mamamatay at mamamatay yon. It's either growing or dying. So then you plant, you teach this is your missionary. Your missionary is planting this. At tinuturuan ng missionary ang first church na magtanim ng mga more churches or daughter churches. Mga second generation churches. Pero kung hanggang lang doon, ano ang mangyayari sa mga daughter churches? They probably won't die at least immediately, but hanggang lang doon. They won't grow anymore. Won't grow anymore. It will grow and grow and grow hanggang ma-reach ang buong mga palibot, pero hanggang lang doon. Hindi lalago pa. So it's not yet a movement. Kasi a movement will continue kahit wala na yung missionary. So what else do you need? You need them to be planting more churches. So, what's a simple way to say this? A church planting movement is discipleship should result in this, but a church planting movement is it's a networking scheme, pyramid scheme. Yeah, the original one. Churches, planting churches that plant more churches, that plant more churches. Or, pwede rin sabihin churches that are trained to plant more churches and to train those churches to plant more churches. Kasi dapat nandiyan pa rin yung training. Otherwise, it won't happen. Okay, so that's church planting movements. What about indigenous? Anong ibig sabihin ng indigenous? Original inhabitants and local culture. And what's under culture? Anong mas malalim sa culture? Values. And what's even deeper than values? World view. Okay? So do we respect their culture or not? Ano ang dapat mga baguhin nila sa kanilang kultura? Only ang mga bagay na kontra sa Biblia. How about kung nakakadiri sa akin? Pero hindi kontra sa Biblia, pero nakakadiri sa akin. Parang nag-aalanganin itong likod. How about kung hindi kontra sa Biblia, pero nakakadiri ang kanilang ugali sa akin? Or hindi mo tanggap? Wala pa rin sagot dito sa likod. Dapat baguhin ba or hayaan na lang? Hayaan. Three things? Modify or reject. At sino ang dapat mag-decide? Kung i-accept, modify, or decide? They will. That's why you need to study the Bible with them at the level of principles. Para sila mismo ang mag-apply sa kanilang mga cultural practices. All right. Seventh-day Adventists, alam ba ninyo ang ibig sabihin? Okay na. So we've gone over the whole definite aim natin. But I have sad news for you. Bulag kayo. Sorry talaga. Ang mga alagad, sinabihan ba ang mga alagad, tinuruan ba sila mag-CPM? Di ba nakita natin yung Luke 9 versus Luke 10, it started with Jesus, and then the 12, and then the 72, and then the 120, like that. Tinuruan ba sila? Sinabihan ba sila na kailangan umabot ito sa buong mundo bago babalik si Jesus? Yes. Sinabihan ba sila na ang trabaho mo bilang mga alagad ko is to make disciples of all ethnic groups? Sinabihan ba sila? Sinabi ba sa kanila na ang progression na yon ay starting with Jerusalem and then going to? Not yet. Judea. And then Samaria, and then to the ends of the world. Sinabihan ba ang mga alagad na dapat ganun, ang progression? After Jesus went back to heaven, did they do it? Not at first. After persecution. They were so focused pa rin sa kanilang dating alam, bumalik sila. Pag medyo nalilito ang ugali ng tao, babalik talaga sa dating alam, dating ways. And we all do the same. When you get to the field, you've been taught, you've heard the principles, you've heard examples of it, but when you get to the field, most of us, me included, ako rin, ginawa ko rin ito, still went back to the old ways, kung anong familiar sa akin. And the disciples did the same. Kailan nagsimula na talagang nag-CPM na sila? Now, Paul got it. Naintindihan ni Pablo. So Paul actually was the only record that we have in the Bible of how CPM worked in the New Testament. Kasi hindi na-gets ng mga alagad until after the New Testament was written. But the disciples did eventually get it. Naalala ba ninyo sa history, sa book Acts of the Apostles, kung kailan nagsimula talaga sila mag-CPM? Not after Pentecost. After persecution. After persecution. Dahil sa persecution, nag-diaspora. Diaspora? However you say that word. Nagkumalat na sila sa iba't ibang lugar. And they were good Christians because kung saan sila napunta, they started witnessing. And they were amazed. Oh, wait. The people here ay marunong din. Kaya rin nila palang tanggapin. And then they started doing it. And then eventually, gaya ng sabi ko, eventually umabot sila hanggang sa east coast ng China, umabot sila hanggang sa southern India, at umabot sila hanggang sa England. But that didn't happen until naging desperado sila. And this is a common theme. Ngayong the last hour today ay medyo piraso-pirasong aral natin. The one where I want to emphasize right here is, it's very, very common na hindi talaga magsimula ang missionary na mag-CPM, really doing CPM, until desperado na. Everything fails. Para sa mga magulang ko, gaya ng kwento ko, remember yung buong iglesia, lahat ng mga believers, nag-backslide. Dinala nila ang Biblia nila sa aming balkon, nilatag nila doon, sabi nila, ayaw na namin, tapos na kami. We're done with that. We don't want to do this anymore. Dale Goodson, yung laging, I always tell Dale stories. He went home on furlough after 3 years. He already had a church established. He already had a group of, I don't know how many, maybe 50 baptized believers. He had leaders that were already leading. When he went home on furlough and came back, they had all gone back to witchcraft. Because what had happened is they thought, well, anyway, mabang kwento yan. So Dale was desperate too. And we were desperate. And David Watson, who designed the DBS, he was desperate. The PFM missionaries, many of them were pretty desperate. Everyone that I have seen or read about na actually nag-CPM, they became desperate. They went back to the Bible and to prayer, pleading with God. Pleading with God, show me, kasi it's not working. It's not working. Others became desperate when they saw the statistics. Bakit sa unang araw, binibigay ko sa inyo ang statistics? It's actually to help you try to work towards this a little bit. To say, ay nako, it's not working. We're not getting there. What do we have to do para abutin talaga ang buong mundo in one generation? Ayon sa utos ni Jesus, ayon sa prophecy. And it'll be out of that desperation. And as you start trying to do it, then you go back and you read the books again. Then you go back for PFM. Every year we do this again. We go over these 4 fields every year. Meron kaming annual training and retreat. So sa umaga, classes about CPM. Sa hapon, pahinga. We do both together. Well, consultation also, yes, with yung mga nauna, mga CPM practitioners. So, I don't want you to be discouraged kasi pagdating ninyo sa field, it will be really, really difficult. Gaya ng sabi ko, kuya kahapon, CPM is 2 or 3 or 4 times more difficult than CP, than church planting. It's much, much more difficult. Ayaw kong parang ipagmalaki na, it's so great, it's so easy. No. This is harder. It's harder. Pero ano ang bunga? We do hard things because they have good results. This is the way that Jesus showed us. This is the way Jesus taught his disciples. This is the way na ginawa ni Pablo. And he taught his trainees. And we already see the results. This is the way that the early Adventists did missions, and we know the results there. So I want to encourage you, magtiis. Magtiis. We have a saying, one of the CPM principles. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na magpakatamad tayo. No, may urgency talaga ang mission. But take the time. Take the time. Invest deeply in training, language learning, culture study, discipleship, training, not just passing information. Diba nakita natin, mabilis. You can do a doctrinal Bible study, you like all the way through the doctrines in a week or 2. Kung talagang apurahin, baka hindi lang. Pero meron bang life transformation? Is that really discipleship? Do they obey? That takes time. Pero yun ang nagbubunga ng CPM. That is the foundation that results in CPM. Simply passing information only results in CP. Na dependent pa rin sa missionary. Pag wala na yung missionary, it collapses. Sabi ni Pablo, mag-ingat kayo. Huwag kayong gumawa ng bahay ng Diyos gamit ang mga dayami, kahoy, at mga bagay na nasusunog. Mag-ingat. Gawin ninyo ang bahay ng Diyos sa mga bagay na it will endure the fire. It will last. Huwag mag-apura. Wood and straw is fast and easy to build. Stone work, masonry, it takes a long time, but it lasts. Okay, I'm going to turn over the time now to Michael for the next principle. Whichever you think is best. Oh, hey, Michael. Hindi ka pa nag-start.
Sige.
I just want to give one short illustration of this. I forgot about this. I thought about this earlier na dapat kong sabihin sa inyo. Coffee. I'm not going to ask you who loves coffee. Pero coffee. Okay? Japan hated coffee. Siguro hindi naman hated, pero hindi uso talaga ang coffee sa Japan back in the day. For many, many, many years, the coffee producers, especially dun sa South America, try to enter the coffee market, the Japanese market. Pero kahit anong gawin nila, the Japanese just did not accept coffee. Ayaw nila. So what did the coffee manufacturers do? They went back to the drawing board, back to brainstorming, and they made coffee candy that was kid-friendly. Parang yung colorful and mga animals or kung ano-ano. Hindi ko alam yung diskarte. Basta yung kid-friendly na coffee-flavored candy. And then they sold that in Japan. And the kids grew up smelling the smell of coffee in the candy. 20 to 30 years later, those kids grew up and they missed that smell, the smell of their childhood. They started buying coffee. And now, coffee is all over Japan, just like most other places in the world. Jesus says, ang mga anak ng mundo ay mas matalino, mas mautak kaysa sa atin. We should use the resources, he says, for the kingdom of God, the way that the businessmen do for their business. We should be even more. They were willing to invest in a plan that would take 20 to 30 years. I'm not saying to sadyang magpabagal, pero take the time to invest. Don't, God is urgent, but at the same time, hindi siya nag-aapura. He takes as long as it takes to do the work right. Yeah.
Is it a reasonable to say that sometimes the old works are more harder to teach?
For older people?
Yeah, compared to the young ones. And is it right just to say, remind all post-legal that let's focus on the new generation to teach this CPA?
So this is going to be a difficult answer. Mahirap tanggapin ito. Pero we have missionaries that have tried that. Hindi healthy. Every place where we've seen that it was healthy, all different age groups and all different kinds of people were reached out to. Mas mahirap, minsan ang mga matatanda. But where it was successful, hindi nila kinaligtaan ang mga matatanda. We have missionaries that said, ang tigas ng ulo ng mga matatanda or ang hirap turuan ng mga matatanda, we will teach the kids. And we will plan for 20, 30 years later, kapag ang mga kids, sila naman ang magpalit sa kanilang mga magulang. But what happened is for all those 20 or 30 years, may divide between the young and the old. And then when hindi nakakasundo, and then there were disciplinary issues, and there was always fighting. It was not a healthy environment. And yes, eventually those kids did grow up to become the leaders. Pero hindi sila lumaki in a healthy and culturally relevant way. Parang nawala na yung culture nila. Just all in all, parang hindi healthy yung situation. Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, it made the generation gap worse. Like every generation has a generation gap, but the missionaries made the problem worse rather than helping it. Rather than teaching them respect. So like Bruchko, Michael mentioned Bruchko. It's a book, required reading against the PFM. In Bruchko, he tried to teach the young people to read. Kasi sabi niya, ang hirap ng mga matatanda. Hindi na sila makaaral na magbasa, literacy. So he started teaching the young people, pero nagalit at nasakta ng mga matatanda. So he said, oh, wait. Let's start over again. So he gathered all the elders. And he told them, he explained kung bakit importante ito at kung bakit ito ay makakatulong sa kanilang tribo. And then he taught the elders. And after a few days, few weeks, sabi ng mga elders, okay na. Hindi namin ito gano'n gets, pero sinubukan na namin. Tinikman na namin at mabuti ito. We've seen that this is a good thing. This will help our children. So now we are telling you, Bruchko, please teach our children. And they sent their children. This is something that you need to learn. So galing sa mga elders, yung initiative na you need to go learn from him. Rather than him subverting underneath na punta kayo sa akin. Mag-aral kayo sa akin. Hayaan na ninyo ang mga magulang ninyo na ayaw. Okay. So I know it's complicated, it's messy, it's not always that easy. Pero yun ang idea. That's what we aim for, is that kind of a transition.
Okay. So, sa mga nakalipas na araw, napag-usapan natin yung self-theologizing at self-propagating. Tama? So, paano dumami at paano hanapin sa Biblia ang mga sagot sa mga problema o aralin ang Biblia, halongkatin ang nilalaman ng Biblia para maging tugon mo sa kung anong sitwasyon ng church. Pag ganun ang church, ibig sabihin, meron na silang self-theologizing, and then kapag kaya na nilang magparami, wala ang presence ng missionary, kaya nilang maghanap ng kanilang tuturuan, kaya nilang pumunta doon at ibahagi ang Biblia sa context nila, that is self-propagating. Okay? Pero may dalawa pa. Okay? May dalawa pa na napaka-crucial, napaka-importante para makita natin ang movement. Okay? Para makita natin ang CPM sa church na yun. So, base sa mga nakausap ko, nandito ang mga problema sa mga mayroon ng mga churches. Okay? Mayroon ng mga group of believers na pinangungunahan. To those of you na you have already a church member, very important ito bago doon sa part ng propagating. So, hindi naman siya sequentialism na dapat mauna dapat ito. Pero I'm telling na napaka-importante ng mga bagay na ito. Okay? So, self-governing. Ano yung self-governing? Okay. It is the ability to decide on their own. Brother Neil, anong gagawin namin? Brother Clint, anong gagawin namin? Ang church, dapat magkaroon sila ng self-governing na estado. Okay? It is the ability to decide on their own. Hindi lang basta nag-decide sila sa sarili nila, nakabase yun sa kanilang self-theologizing. Sa pag-aaral nila ng Biblia at nakita nila, dapat ito ang gawin natin. Hindi na nila i-affirm sa mission, kuya, tama ba itong gagawin namin? Hindi na. Sila na magde-decide. Okay? It is the ability to decide on their own, communicate, strategize, plan, and execute them. Okay? So, kaya nilang mag-decide, ang mga leaders sa church, Kaya nilang i-communicate sa buong membro, and then mag-strategize ng mga plano, mag-create ng mga plano, at tuparin ang mga plano na yon. Kahit wala ang PAMAS missionary. Okay? Kahit wala ang SULADS missionary. Kahit wala ang farms to missionaries. Or mga missionaries sa Siloam Valley. Kahit wala ang church planting team. O anong grupo man siya, basta church planting team na nauna nagturo sa kanila, kahit wala sila, magagawa nila yon. Okay? So anong problema kung hindi magkaroon ng church ng ganitong estado? Magkaroon sila ng self-governing church. So number 1, hindi palaging andyan ang missionary. Darating sa point na kung due to some circumstances, family problem, o kung outside the mga reason, or due to persecutions, pwedeng mawala ang missionary. Pwedeng namatay, nagkasakit, umuwi, nagka-problema, at etc. Ang church dapat merong ganito, self-governing. Okay? Self-governing. Okay, and then, it is the ability to evaluate strengths and weaknesses inside the church. Kaya nilang makita yon, saan sila nagkukulang, ano yung kalakasan nila. And assess areas for improvements. Alam nila, mahina tayo dito, anong gagawin natin? Okay, medyo nahihirapan tayo sa part na to, anong kulang sa atin? Kailangan ba natin ng training? Kailangan pa ba natin mas matuto? Kailangan ba natin i-invite ng mga missionary sa PAMAS para i-train tayo sa ganitong part? Kaya na nilang makita yon. Hindi missionary ang mag-point out, kailangan nyo ito, mahina kayo sa ganito. Hindi. Okay? So, importante. For example, Exodus 36, 3-5. Okay? Exodus chapter 36, 3-5. So, basahin na lang ninyo yan. It talks about yung dealing ng Panginoon sa bayan ng Israel. Okay? Mula sa paglabas, galing sa Egypt, spoon-feed sila lahat. No? May takip sila pag umaga, may apoy sila nagpapainit sa gabi, guarded ang buong kampamento, and then may umuulan na pagkain. Kung nag-request sila ng karne, binigyan sila ng Panginoon, and so on and so on. At napakarami pa, uhaw na uhaw sila, binigyan sila ng tubig, at ang dami pang ginawa ang Panginoon. Pero eventually, hindi nag-stop doon. Okay? So, paglabas sa Egypt, unti-unti, may ginawa ang Panginoon. Una, nagsabi siya sa bayan ng Israel na gagawa ng templo. Okay? Pero dyan sa story, hindi nag-provide ang Panginoon ng mga furnitures para sa templo. Okay? Normally, kapag may pangangailangan, sinong nagpo-provide? Panginoon. Okay? Pero during sa time na ito, hindi nag-provide ang Panginoon. Pero meron siyang ibang binigay. Nagbigay siya ng karunungan para doon sa mga tao na sila ang gagawa. Okay? Gagawa doon sa plano. Sa next na, okay, so stop tayo dyan kasi dito tayo sa yung next na mga talata regarding naman sa self-supporting. So ang Panginoon unti-unting nag-transition. Okay? Hindi naman kasi mahihirapan ang bayan ng Israel. Kung sabihin, lumabas kayo dyan, bahala na kayo sa buhay ninyo. Hindi ganon. Okay? So, dinala natin sila sa, kumbaga yung mga tao sa field, dinala natin sila outside. Dinala natin sila sa biblical culture, and then pinabayaan natin sila. Ano yon? Church planting lang. Inakay natin sila, nagpunta sila sa church, hindi nila sinusunod ang kanilang dating kultura, and then, nabinyagan na kayo, meron na kayong mga leaders, kaya nyo na yan, and then, alis ng missionary. Okay? So, ang Panginoon, hindi. Nung nilabas sila mula sa Egypt, unti-unti, tinuruan sila. Hanggang, nung pinagkalob ng Panginoon ng karunungan kung paano gawin yung templo, sila na gumawa. Wala nang sinabi ang Panginoon, okay, dapat, ganito, dapat ganito ang gawin. Nung binigay sa kanila ang karunungan, inspire sila ng Holy Spirit, nagawa nila yon. Okay? So, characteristic ng isang church na may self-governing. Una, led by a lay people, not the missionary. pinangungunahan ng mismong taga roon, hindi ang missionary, not the missionaries. So kung ikaw, Brother Neil, ang isa sa mga katutubo doon, hindi na ako ang namumuno sa iyo. Okay? Kung ikaw ang isa sa mga leaders, ikaw ang namumuno kasama ng ibang leaders sa loob ng iglesia. Kung meron akong maitutulong sa anumang kapamaraanan or inspiration, kung magsabi ka na, Brother Michael, pwede ka bang mag-lead sa pakanta? Magpapakanta ako. Okay? Kung sabihin mo na, pwede ba akong mag-pray ng closing prayer? Mananalangin ako. Hindi ako ang mag-decide sa mga programa, sa mga decision. Kayo na. Okay? So, led by a lay people, not the missionary. Kung magkamali sila, hayaan mo lang. Okay? Hayaan lang dapat ng missionary. Kasi pag missionary, kagaya ng animistic na kaisipan, uy, mali yun. Dapat ganito. Mali ang pagtayo. Hindi nasakto sa kanta. Hindi tayo ganon. Okay? And then the members has the ability to decide what to do based on biblical principles. Hindi isa kung anong sinabi ng missionary. Okay? Kung anong nakabase sa Biblia, kaya nilang mag-decide through that. The lay people led the meetings or planning, not the missionary. Kung may problema, may mga issue sa labas, nakapito sa church, hindi missionary ang maglilid. Okay? Kung missionary ang naglilid, walang pa sila dito. So, ang goal natin, unti-unti mawala ang missionary sa pangunguna. And then last, the programs of the church will go on without the presence of the missionary. Okay, kung ano yung mga program na in-establish ninyo, pinagkaisahan ninyo, kahit wala ang missionary, masusunod yun. Okay? Kung may programa kayong, may visitation kayong gagawin sa next na baryo, mangyayari yun kahit wala dyan ang missionary. Okay? Pag hindi pa yun nagagawa, yung mga ganong mga setting, at umaasa pa sila sa mga missionary, kulang pa. Kasi pag wala ang missionary, tapos walang church planting movement na mangyayari. Walang movement, hindi nila maipagpapatuloy. Okay? Okay, so enough tayo sa self-governing. Dito tayo sa part ng self-sustaining or self-supporting. Ilan sa mga churches ninyo, o sino dito mayroong nililid ng mga church, na hanggang ngayon umaasa pa rin sa may sponsor sa labas para magawa yung programa natin, ay wala, sira na yung ating bubong, kailangan nating baka makahanap ng sponsor si pastor o yung missionary. Halos lahat. Okay? So, paano natin sila matutulungan para madala natin sila doon sa kaisipan na dapat nilang suportahan ang sarili nila. Okay? One story sa Biblia, connected pa rin dito. Exodus 35:4-9, Exodus 20-29, and 36. Chapter 36, 5-7. Okay, basahin ko muna ang meaning ng self-sustaining or self-supporting. It is the ability to sustain, to support themselves financially. Okay? It is the ability to sustain or support themselves financially, practically. Without outside support. Okay, ngayon, mali bang tumanggap ang church ng donation kung may tutulong? Hindi. Pero dapat ang church, kahit wala yon, kaya nilang i-sustain ang kanilang sarili. Kaya nilang gawin, kung ano ang kanilang napagplanuhan, kaya nilang suportahan through financially and practically. Kaya nilang gawin yun. Meron ako napuntang isang church, sabi nila ang plano, magbayanihan. Tapos ang nangyari sa dulo, mag-hire man lang ng tao para sila na ang magtrabaho. Self-supporting ba siya at saka self-sustaining? Financially, oo. Okay? pero practically, hindi. Paano yung mga tao na, tawag nito, hindi nila kayang mag-hire ng ibang tao para tumulong sa ganyan. Pero anyway, kayo na bahala mag-decide. Okay? So, support themselves financially and practically without any outside support, except that the programs or activities require them to do so. Okay? Kung meron kayong programa, nag-isip kayo doon sa inyong field na mag-conduct ng seminar health seminar patungkol sa kalinisan. Okay? Wala kayong lecturer or something like that mismo doon sa barrio at kukuha kayo ng outside support. Okay? So may mga gamit or may mga bagay kayong paggagamitan ng pera at wala kayong enough na budget. Sa mga ganong situation lang, hindi yung pang-araw-araw or pang-buwan ninyong mga activity. During lang sa mga ganong situation. At kung yun ang desisyon ng church, hindi desisyon ng missionary. Okay? So, hindi desisyon ng missionary. The church does not depend on any financial support. Hindi tayo nakadepende. Pero pwede tayong tumanggap kung mayroong magbigay. Okay? Pero hindi tayo nakadepende doon. Ang church, kapag nakadepende pa rin sa outside, kung may mahanap si missionary na sponsor, kung dumating na yung fund ng evangelism mula sa district pastor, hindi pa rin sila self-supporting. Kasi eventually, yung mga bagay na yun ay hindi palaging meron. And then, hindi palaging andyan. Parehas lang na. Okay. And they can provide for themselves from their own. Okay? One example, nung nilabas ng Diyos ang Israel, anong ginawa ng Panginoon sa kanila? Ay inutusan sila bago sila lumabas, ay pinakuha sa kanilang kapitbahay. Yung mga jewelries, mga silver, mga gold, mga mamahaling mga bagay, mga valuable items. Bakit kaya yun? Okay? Bakit kaya? Kung babasahin natin ang kwento sa Exodus 35, verse 4 to 9, verse 20 to 29, and verse 36, 5 to 7, plano na talaga ng Panginoon na ang bayan ng Israel ay maging self-supporting. Kaya una pa lang, sa pinakaunang tawag pa lang ng Panginoon, nung inutusan niya si Moises, nasabihan ng bayan ng Israel, at ito ang gawin nila, nasa isip na ng Panginoon na gawin, na dapat ang bayan ng Diyos ay maging self-supporting. At dito sa story na ito, di ba kailangan ng materialis para sa tabernacle? Nagbigay ba ang Panginoon ng materialis? Wala. Ang sinabi niya, mula sa mga tao, nagre-require ang Panginoon ng kusang loob ng mga handog, ng ginto, pilak, at etc. At sobrang dami na yun. Okay? At chapter 36, 5 to 7, sabi ng mga those person in charge sa pagko-collect, Moses, please, command the people to stop giving. It is, yung nandun sa kanila ay sobra pa sa kung ano ang pangangailangan para sa paggawa. So, unti-unti, makikita natin, una, hinayaan ng Diyos na dinala ng Diyos ang bayan ng Israel sa self-governing status. Makita natin to sa mga experiences ni Moses, na una pa lang sinabihan na siya na pumunta ka doon at kausapin mo yung mga elders. Okay? Next na problem, pumunta ka doon, pagpili ka ng 50 elders, yung the same na spirit na nasa iyo, meron din sa kanila. Hindi pa rin yung na nag-gets masyado ni Moses until sinabihan siya ni Jethro, mali ang ginagawa mo. Doon lang niya talaga, ito mo yung paulit-ulit na sinasabi ng Panginoon sa akin. Sa very beginning, nasa isip na ng Panginoon na dapat ang bayan ng Diyos ay magkaroon ng maging self-governance. At pasok natin doon sa ating mga kanya-kanyang field, mag-uumpisa tayo sa ating mga bagong field, palagi nasa isip natin, dapat maging ganito sila. Kasi pag hindi magpapatuloy ng gawain. Pag wala ang missionary, wala ang tao. Okay. So, tanong.
Kaya ng Fred na dinisagan tayo ng baboy. So, balik mo sa baboy para may continuity ang sources of ano nila. Hindi maging burden ang pagpalo ng Panginoon. Kasi wala na siya.
Ano yung baboy din? Hinahunting o inaalagaan? Okay, inaalagaan. Sinong sasagot dito? Okay, dapat yung sagot ha. Dapat yung sagot, hindi yung isang beses dapat sustainable kasi dapat magpatuloy siya. Okay? So dapat sinong magde-decide nga? Ang mga tao. So kung tinanong ka niyan, i-versit mo lang ang Biblia, ano bang sinabi sa Biblia? Pili ka dyan ng naisip mong gusto mong alagaan o paramihin or etc. Sila ang magde-decide. Pwede tayong mag-inspire sa kanila or hindi ikaw magde-decide kung anong gagawin mo para doon sa problema niya. Okay? Remember, sila dapat ang mag-isip. At kung may naisip sila, isipin natin, paano tayo makakatulong na hindi sila magdidepende sa atin? Okay? Paano tayo makakatulong na hindi sila, that they will not depend on us? Tutulungan natin sila, we will help them, pero dapat ang result nun, hindi sila magdepende sa atin. Kasi hindi lang isang tao may problema niyan. Buong community. Tama? At hindi lang buong community, yung next na community. Ganun din ang problema. So, pagdating sa faith, stuck tayo doon. Paano yung susolusyonan? Hindi natin, kahit anong gawin natin mga kapatid, sabihin ko na sa inyo, hindi natin kayang solusyonan lahat ng problema sa mundo. Kaya kung hindi natin magawan yun ng solusyon, matulungan sila, patawarin niyo sarili niyo. Okay? Kahit man noon pa, mga presidente ng malalaking bansa, nagsikap na solusyonan ang problema sa lahat ng kanilang hindi pa rin nagawa. Okay? So, kung meron man tayong hindi kayang gawin, dahil kung gagawin natin, aasa sa mapuputol ang movement, mas maiging huwag na lang natin gawin at patawarin natin ang sarili. Kawawa naman si kuya, kawawa naman si ate, napakabait. Patawarin natin ang ating sarili. Then kung may inspirasyon ng Panginoon, yan ang gawin natin. Salamat sa tanong kasi baka mararanasan talaga yun ng iba. Okay. So, diretso ako doon sa mode. Okay, wala nang time. I'm sorry. Okay. So, oras na pala, 11:40. Anong oras nga tayo dapat nag-stop? 11:30? 40. Okay, 11:39. Okay, natapos ako. Sakto lang sa oras. Okay? So, kung meron kayong tanong, pwede kayo magtanong sa amin during break time or magtanong kayo. Okay?
What's the previous text in Exodus?
36, self-governing. Verse 3 to 5. Yan yung binigyan sila ng karunungan. Okay? Ito, Exodus 35, 4 to 9, and then 20 to 29, and then 36, verse 5 to 7. Paro ba? Okay. So, kung meron kayong tanong, mamaya na lang, during sa ating lunch or kailan kami bakante, maglapit lang kayo sa amin. Okay? So, may mga nakakausap din ako, sila panes, couple, may mga pag-uusapan din kaming ibang bagay para naman doon sa feed nila. Actual na pwede nilang gawin doon. Okay, so yun lang. At continue tayo mamaya sa CPM principles. Tayo para sa ating closing prayer. Let's pray. Mapagmahal naming Diyos, Ama namin nasa langit, tunay na puno ka ng pag-ibig. Salamat po muli sa mga bagay namin pong napag-aralan. Bagamat ang iba, Panginoon, ay madali ang pagpapaliwanag lang. Pero dalangin ko, habang kami po'y nakikinig o nag-aaral, ang iyong Espiritu ang patuloy na gumagawa sa aming mga kaisipan upang ipakita sa amin ang mga practical na application nito sa field kung saan kami bawat isa na gumagawa, Panginoon. At sa amin pong lunch, dalangin po namin, Panginoon, na mapapalang aming saganang tinanggap mula sa iyo na patuloy na maging kasiglahan ng bawat isa. At maging masaya ang aming pong kainan at matuwa kami sa presence ng bawat isa. Salamat, Panginoon, sa pangalan ng Panginoong Yesus. Amen.